The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICCLending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICCLending.com.
3, 2, 1.
Every human came to earth with a gift, and they must discover that gift and refine that gift for them to be fulfilled.
The prerequisite for spending time with any person is that they nourish and inspire you. They feed your flame.
Yo, hey man, how you work this radio?
You're not listening to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Keep it locked.
Owning a home and paying it off is one of the data points of an everyday millionaire.
Home sales across the U.S. are on the rise as buyers take advantage of record low mortgage rates.
Good morning. Now let's get back to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Good morning. It's the Tie and Hoodie Show right here on 93.5 K-Day. Every Sunday morning, 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. We get a lot of calls throughout the week. What's going on? You can find all that information at tieandhoodieshow.com. And please don't forget, all Tie and Hoodie Shows are sponsored by ICC Lending, where it's the one-stop shop for home loans. Once again, that's ICCLending.com. I'm your host, Trevon Smith, a.k.a. Trey. This is my co-host, Mr. Andrew Jesse Koba.
Hey, Trevon, how are you? How is everybody doing? Thank you, listeners, for another Sunday morning. And today we got a good one. We got a great one. We got Mr. Clemente De La Torre. Did you see how I rolled my tongue, Mr.
I love it.
Torre.
You said it just right, Andrew.
That's perfect. We have Mr. Clemente De La Torre, who's a successful real estate agent in the Los Angeles area. Awesome gentleman. I've been following this gentleman for quite a number of years on his social media pages, seeing all the great things he's doing for himself, his community, his family. And we just thought, you know what, we have to bring him on and have him share his stories, his challenges, where he's been, where he's at, where he's going. So we all can just enjoy that, energy and lift us up, because this show is about personal development. Welcome, Mr. De La Torre.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew and Trey. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. The Tie and Hoodie Show, right? So I felt like I needed to dress appropriately.
Definitely appreciate you for representing both sides.
Absolutely, baby. And it's the Advent season, right? Christmas is around the corner, and I'm just super grateful to be here with you guys, with your audience. Hopefully we can bring a little cheer, a little hope, a little bit of inspiration. And that's something that I want to talk to. Like, I remember we briefly talked last time, so I want you to, we'll touch a couple subjects. But Mr. De La Torre, tell a little bit to the people, and the K-Day listeners and the people listening worldwide, a little bit about yourself. And I remember touching on some subjects about your past. Just talk a little bit about where you've come from as a person. Absolutely. Thanks, Trey. So again, this show airs mostly in the LA region. I know I've been a fan of K-Day for a long time. And this is where I grew up. I grew up here in the Northeast San Fernando Valley. So a little bit north of LA. But yeah. To be more specific, Pacoima. So shout out to Pacoima out there.
Okay, shout out. Awesome. Yeah.
But a little bit about my background. Grew up again, very humble upbringings, government housing, the Pacoima projects. I don't know if people are familiar with that. I grew up there from the time that I was 5 years old to the time that I was 18 years old. And I remember, especially around this time, having to stand in line to see Santa Claus and get my one gift. So I'm super, super grateful to be able to now go back into the inner city and with God's grace, be able to give back to some of those youths and show them that there is a way. Just because we grow up in that environment, guys, doesn't mean that we have to stay there, that we have to, a lot of my friends, unfortunately, growing up are either in prison or dead, or stuck in that system of poverty. So really the focus for today, guys, and yes, the Lord is great, and he's been blessing me and my family with a tremendous real estate business. And I'm so happy to be able to share that good news with your listeners. But really, guys, the message for today is hope. If a kid from Pacoima can make it out of the hood, then so can you guys.
Talk to him, Mr. De La Torre. I think that's important for our listeners to know, because there's a lot of minority people that are, like you, the word I like that you used was stuck. We're stuck with our mentality. We're stuck in our physical homes, and I'm not going to say all, but a lot of them don't have a game plan. But if a brother like you from Pacoima can come from where you came from and have the plan you had, with the ups and downs that I remember the last time we talked about, it's just all about that bounce back in faith, like you said, which equals hope.
Trey, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said we got to have a plan. So that's something that I've learned growing up in business and in life. We have to have goals. We have to have dreams, right? Everybody dreams. For some reason, once we hit 18, 20, 25, those dreams start disappearing, and you start thinking, man, this is my reality, right? But your dreams don't have to stop. We dream every day. God brings in positive thoughts into our brains every day. And I love Mel Robbins, motivational speaker, author of the 5-second rule. She talks about how we have all these thoughts that are coming into our head, right? All these positive thoughts, and our brain is going to sabotage them, because our brain, it's fight or flight. So our brain is trying to keep us safe. Oh, wait a minute. That might be a little bit too rough. That might be a little bit too tough. We don't want to feel any pain, Clemente, right? Trey, we don't want to feel any pain. Forget that idea. Let's get that idea out. So we literally have 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds to act on that thought. And it could be something simple as sending a text, writing down. I love journaling. Every day I journal some thoughts, and some are outrageous, right? Some are way out of this world, but some are practical. I would say the bigger we dream, the bigger we think, then we can really make an impact on this world. We can literally change the world, guys. But we dream, we set goals, we write them down, set a game plan up, give a deadline by when we want to achieve these goals. And guess what? Our mind is super powerful. Our mind is going to help us get there.
Well, let me rewind you real quick for a second, okay?
Come on, baby.
Because we all have come from nothing to where we are, right? We all are, by God's grace and by his blessings, head above water. We want to talk to people who are listening today, who's watching on YouTube, and saying, you know what, that's easy for you to say, that's easy for you to say, like, I have nothing. How do I start from nothing? Can you address that for a second?
Absolutely. So I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan, right? #1 podcast in the United States. And the way he puts it is the way that I like to identify is, hey, we can all make up a million excuses. We can say, hey, I had troubled youth growing up, right? I came from a broken family. I came from poverty, and this all applies to me, by the way. Divorce, right? We had depression, right? Nearly bankruptcy, right? So going from nothing to something, right? Multi-million-dollar company back down to nothing, right? It was crippling. right? And the mind is going to tell you, give up. This isn't good. You're not good enough. But guess what? Joe Rogan, I love what he says is, you can be the main actor in your movie. Your life is your movie. So you can choose to be the victim, or you can choose to be the champion, baby. I choose to be the champion every time. Every time I get out of bed, I'm choosing to be the hero for my family, for my friends, for my circle, the people that God brings in and out of our lives, right? That's who we need to be. That's part of our movie, right? So that's who we need to shepherd. That's who we need to mentor. That's who we need. And I'm also a big fan of having mentors, right? Having successful people like Andrew, right? And Trey, having you guys around me to lift us up. I think that's key in life. We need to spend, I'm a big fan of 33, 33, 33. What's that mean? So it's 100% of ourselves, right? 100% of ourselves. And we chop that time up by a third. My father, his level of education is second grade, one of the smartest people I've ever known. He taught me, if you want to know who you are, Clem, take a sober look in the mirror and tell me the 3 people that you hang out with the most. And that's exactly who you are. So I like to surround myself with 3 types of people, right? 1, the person that can elevate me, the coach, the mentor, the ultra successful person I admire and I look up to, right? 2nd, my peer, right? Somebody that I see eye to eye with, right? Somebody that I can learn from. Maybe his spiritual life is hitting on all cylinders, but his business is not. So we can learn from each other, right? Maybe his physical fitness level is at a high peak, right? Yeah. And my family level is at a high peak, right? So we can learn from one another. So that's the 2nd type of individual that I spend my time with. And the 3rd is the people that I can mentor, that I can coach, that I can help lift up, right? So if we're doing that every day, guys, we're constantly seeking people to either mentor, for us to get mentor, or for us to bounce ideas one another. I think we can all live a more productive life that way.
Hey, Mr. Clemente, I'm just, if people watching me right now, whether it's on YouTube or however they're watching, they're like, Trevon is just sitting back listening, because I enjoy your energy. I enjoy what you bring to the table every time we get a chance to talk. And it's important for people to realize, and our listeners and everybody worldwide, this doesn't come easy where you got to. It doesn't. One of the people I listened to was John Hope Bryant, and he said, without storms, there's no rainbows.
Absolutely.
Now, so all they're hearing from you right now is a rainbow. They don't know your storms. They haven't heard those storms. And I think you've talked about it a little bit as far as, growing up in the Pacoima projects. But you've had some times where, and I hope it didn't go over anybody's head, where you've had businesses with success and then it kind of didn't go so well. And then you got other businesses. Can you talk about you in the real estate market, in your profession, how things may go up and down, but that's the career you've chosen and the things you're willing to go through?
Absolutely, Trey. So my business, very much like Andrew, is the people business, right? So I love people. I love listening to their stories, their peaks and valleys, right? And at the same time, I share some of my peaks and valleys, right? Going through that adversity of being in a broken home and dealing with unfortunately, my father, which is an amazing human being, was not there for me as a youth growing up, right? He was in and out of the prison system, so people can relate with that, right? Especially growing up out here in the suburbs of LA, it can be rough. Now, fast forward to when I started building my business in my early 20s. I call it the roaring 20s, right? Mm-hmm. I wasn't prepared. I didn't understand how money works, right? So as much as was coming in, it was coming out. I mean, we were living like rock stars, right? Thinking that it was never gonna end, not living a God first life. And a lot of us can relate with that, right? Being out at the clubs, you know, having the fancy cars, the fancy watch, the biggest house on the block, right? And spending money like it's going out of style. And a lot of us fall into that trap later on in life. So I'm grateful that I experienced that in my 20s. So now that I'm in my 40s, I don't make the same mistakes. And hopefully our audience out there can learn from my mistakes, right? That's the true sign of a wise person, is being to learn from others' mistakes. And I made a ton of mistakes, Trey, and I continue to make mistakes on a daily basis. But that's how we learn. That's how we get better, right? If you don't take risk, if you don't challenge yourself with new goals, then you're not going to grow. You're not going to develop. So I just encourage you guys, whatever business you choose, be the very best that you can be, right? I think it's what's his name? Steve Harvey. Yeah. Absolutely. One of the most inspiring people that I've had the pleasure of meeting. He talks about how we all have a gift, right? God gave us a gift. And maybe your gift is to cut hair. Be the best barber hairstylist that you can possibly be. Maybe your gift is to do landscaping, right? Be the very, very, very best landscape artist that you can be. You know, a painter, a basketball player, a communicator, right? Yeah, if your gift is to communicate, use what God gave you and reach out to people. If you're a great listener, be a great listener. If you're a teacher, be the best teacher. If you're a mom, be the best mom, right? So all these things that God gives us, we can't focus on the negative. Yeah. We can't focus on the adversities. We can't focus on, hey, well, I was dealt a bad set of cards. Guess what? We were all dealt something. Yeah. We all suffer from some sort of issues. And if you allow your mind to corrupt you, again, we can get stuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mr. De La Torre is like this. You know, I think most of the people who are listening or watching, some people like us, years ago, we used to be like, you know, I mean, in my own case, I barely had, I had my daughter who was 6 years old. I was renting a little room and I was sleeping on the ground. My daughter slept on a little small bed. I had a little bicycle because I didn't have a car. So I would ride a bicycle to the store to go get hot dogs. We had a microwave, a little fridge, and we ate hot dogs literally like almost 4 or 5 days a week, you know? Wow. And now being in charge of making sure 20, 30 people get a paycheck every month, such a huge responsibility. Going from that point where I was thinking my life is over, I was thinking, God, why did you give me all this college education and all this knowledge, and I can't even make a living? You know, why did you bring me here? Why am I here? You know, why can't you just? Personally, I was thinking, why can't you just take me back to Nigeria so I can go back and become a farmer? You know, and at least I can grow crops and have food. You know, so I hear what you're saying. I think our listeners want to hear more in detail about, you know, you grew up in a project, you worked hard, became a business owner, and you lost it all. What were you feeling during that time? How did you get back up? You know, because people need to understand that don't let your environment dictate you. I think that's what we need to speak to our customers more, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely, Andrew. And you know what? I love LA. LA is a melting pot where people from all over the world, right? I was born in Mexico. You were born in Nigeria. People from all different places come with hope, right? They come to the United States. They come to America to be able to prosper and achieve the American dream. And that's one of the reasons why I chose to help people specifically in the housing industry, right? Because that's the American dream, right? How else can you build wealth, right? If not with real estate, right? Owning property, especially in Southern California.
Yeah.
The way a home can appreciate it in a matter of 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, you can literally have 150, 200, 250,000 in equity in a matter of 5 to 7 years. But with that said, Andrew, back to the adversity piece of it. Yes, 2010, 2009, 10, and a chunk of 11. I was in a very dark place. I was again, depression, right? It can be dreadful. You don't want to get out of bed, right? When you go from making 150,000 a month to nothing, right? And repossession of the Mercedes and foreclosure on 3 of the 4 properties and having to close my office, going through a divorce with 2 babies, with 2 little ones, right? So all this kind of stacks on top of each other, right? And just like you, Andrew, I said, why, God? Why is all this happening to me? And we don't understand. At the time, I didn't understand that I needed to go through the storm. And God didn't leave me. God was right there with me. He was in pain with me too. But he helped pick me up and made me wiser, made me stronger, made me in his image so that I don't make the same mistakes that I did in those roaring 20s of going out and partying and drinking and womanizing and doing all this other stuff. That the gifts that God gave me, I was using them to manipulate people, right? And to get people to do what I thought I wanted them to do. And now, having lived that life and having been reborn again, right? Because thank God I met one of those mentors that I share about. He's one of my best friends now. His name's Brad Lomax. If you're hearing Brad, thank you. But God brought this gentleman into my life, and I saw what a husband should look like. I saw what a father should look like, what a businessman should look like, all in one, right? So he was this mentor that helped me. And sometimes we have dreams of God. Sometimes we have visions. I've been blessed to have both. But most of the time, guys, God comes in a form of a person, right? God brings people into your life to help shepherd you, to help guide you in the right direction. So I feel like God brought this gentleman, along with many other people, he's brought in and out of my life. And I was able to get into a good church. I was born again in 2016. I found my wife, Jennifer, which is so awesome. And we got married in 2016. And it's now going to be 2021. We're going to celebrate 5 years of marriage. I'm in a very happy time in my life. I love being a father. Being a father is awesome. It's my why. It's my motivation. Why I get up and I think it's Les Brown that says, I want my kids to see greatness. This is what greatness looks like. It's getting up at 5 a.m. It's doing everything that I need to do. My prayers, my goal setting. I go walk my big German Shepherd Nacho. And this is just to get the day started, right? I go through my to-do list, right? Every day I have a plan to do 30, 30, 30. What does that mean for you business owners, for you entrepreneurs out there? It's 30 phone calls, right? So I need to talk to 30 people not 30 dials. Talk to 30 people. What's good? What's good, Andrew? Share some positive news. Just want to touch bases with you. This is what's good in my life, right? Share some positivity. 30 texts. That takes 10 minutes to send out 30 texts. And 30 engagements on social media, whether it be Instagram or Facebook. I'm a big fan of Facebook, right? So you see that your friend that maybe you haven't talked to in 6 months, you see that their son is learning to play the piano and he's doing a tremendous job. So you're going to not only comment on that, but ask an open-ended question. That's going to create engagement. So if we do this every day, our center of influence is just going to grow that much. And people don't care how much I know. They don't until they know how much I care.
I think that's what they need to hear right there. People don't care what you're doing in life until you show them that you care about them. And that's the human being. That's how we operate. Mr. De La Torre, I don't want to cheat you at all, because you're one of the most successful businessmen in Southern California, represent Pacoima. Where can everybody reach you at to support your business as a Latino man?
Thank you, brother. You know what? I have a website, www.realestatebyclemente.com. You can go on there, check out any house that's in the Southern California area. You can check it out on there. If you see something that you like, you can heart it. I get a notification. We can take this as slow as you need it to be, or as fast as you need it to be. I just met with the gentleman yesterday that's on a 1031 exchange that needs to be in a property before the end of the year. Guess what? Priority, we're going to go find them a property in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to get that done. I've also met earlier this week, I met with a family that wants to set out a game plan, right? And we might be a year and a half away from it, but at least we have the information. So that's my recommendation to anybody out there that's thinking about buying or selling real estate. Let's have an initial conversation, set up a roadmap, see what your goals are, right? I love to have a cup of coffee with you and kind of figure this out together. I know we're living in different times, so we can do a Zoom conversation, right?
So let me, Mr. Clemente, let me jump in real quick because we have about probably 2 or 3 minutes left for our show here. Give us your phone number and say it slowly, and if you can say it twice, where people can call you and reach out to you directly for real estate services.
Absolutely. It's 818-481-2483. One more time, 818-481-2483. And you can call, you can text me anytime, guys. Like I said, it doesn't have to be for real estate needs. You want to have a conversation? We can figure things out together. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you want to collaborate, that's what I do best. I would encourage you guys, if it is to purchase a property, let's have a conversation with Andrew as well. He's the mortgage specialist of the crew. So it's all about figuring out things together, right? And guess what?
Give us your website again real quick, because again, I have just like a minute to go here. Give us your website again, if you can announce that twice also.
www.realestatebyclemente.com.
Okay.
Realestatebyclemente.com. At Facebook, Clemente De La Torre, all together. Instagram at Clemente De La Torre, all together. And then our podcast. Check out our podcast, The Source Podcast by Clemente. We talk about current events. We talk about life. We talk about what's going on. Everything with the source, Jesus Christ, God, right smack in the middle of everything. My God loves the Dodgers. My God loves the Lakers. And my God loves real estate, baby. There it is.
That's how,
well, Mr. Clemente, thank you. Trevon, take us out here. So.
Hey, it's the Tie and Hoodie Show every Sunday morning, 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. right here on the worldwide famous 93.5 K-Day. And you can check us out once again, tieandhoodieshow.com, where we have all shows. We got a couple text in saying people checked in at the very last minute. You can see this show up on our YouTube page. Hey, Mr. Clemente, always beautiful energy. Hey, real estate.
We have to have you back. We're going to let you know in 2021. We're going to give you heads up because I still want to dig deep into your psychic and mentality, because people need to understand that you're going through a rough time. Better days are ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Realestatebyclemente.com. Mr. Clemente.
God bless, brothers.
Hey, thank you for our listeners. We see you guys next week.
Hey, do you have valuable information that can help your community?
Okay.
And you'd like to be a guest? Hit us on our social media.
Do it now.
The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICCLending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICCLending.com.